Hello, this is Lisa Rusczyk
And Donna Murphy.
with the podcast We're All Psychic, and today we have a really cool guest, and her name is DreamWeaver Oracle. DreamWeaver Oracle, would you like to say hello,
Hi, I'm Kristi.
Kristi? And she says hi, and we would love to ask you a question right away. Do you think that we're all psychic?
Yes, I do. But if you would have asked me that maybe more than probably 10 years ago, I would have said no.
Yeah? What made you change your mind?
I felt like I didn't, I thought that everybody kind of knew and felt the same kinds of things. And I didn't think that it was intuitive or special or anything like that. And the more that I've learned, and kind of had some other experiences, the more I've realized we all are. It's in different forms. We have different muscles, like some of us have bigger muscles here and some of us have bigger muscles there. Some of us develop them. Some of us work out every day. Some of us ignore them our whole lives. But I think we all have it.
Yeah.
It's the piece that we have and the amount of effort and time we put into maybe developing kind of those pieces for ourselves.
Right. So what happened to you so long ago? I would love to hear. But first, before we get into this, I want to tell listeners and watchers what you have done for us before this podcast. She has a specialty with dreams, and we'll get into all that. But I don't even know what to call what you did, but she wrote these reports up and she interpreted one of my dreams and she dreamed for us. So we'll talk about all that and what that means. But I just want to I'll give you a little teaser about that. So that's where she ended up right now. But how did you get there? Where did you start? What happened to make you change your mind?
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy process. And I think only looking backwards can connect, any of those things. If I would have been told, growing up or even, 15 years ago that I would be doing astrology, dream work, analysis, I would have been like, no way.
No.
So
You have the wrong woman.
yeah, definitely not. I mean, I had zero interest in spirituality or religion at all. Zero.
Yeah. What were you interested in? I'm curious. What were you into?
I actually was, I had a very successful real estate career. So I did real estate for 20 years and I loved it. I loved the uniqueness about it and that every time it's different, each person is different.
Yes,
I get
every
to be
house
a part.
Yeah,
and
right.
every person that you work with, it's not the same process. It's such a cool, monumental experience to be a part of with everybody.
Yeah.
And I just felt so blessed in that. I had an awesome career. I did in Oregon and Washington. I worked with builders. I was on teams. I was on my own. I did like a ton of real estate, and eventually had this experience actually it wasn't a real estate event, but it was a thing that I was invited to through one of the people that I worked with in a real estate group. And it was a small event that was just like women, wine and cheese event. And normally I would skip as many of the real estate events as possible because I was busy. I had little kids at home and I had this really weird feeling this whole day at work that I needed to go to this. And normally it's like I go to just enough to show my face and make sure that I'm involved in going to the required things. But I couldn't go to this. I had to take one kid to this practice and one kid to this practice. And I wasn't able to do it, but I felt so disappointed about it, which was such a weird feeling for me. And it wasn't like I hadn't been to anything recently either, because normally I only feel the pull to go to something if I haven't been to anything.
Been closed up. Yeah.
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 So my oldest son had called me and said, this was about 15 years ago. And he said that he was going to be able to take one of my kids to practice for me. His work shift changed or something. So I was like, okay, cool. This actually works out great. I can go to an hour of this event and then go pick up the other kid and, start my nightly stuff, but at least I'll show my face. And, so I was like, okay, this is perfect. So I left the model home that day and I drove over to this event and I got there and there's a bunch of people already there and people were just chatting and eating and hanging out. And then this guy walked out, and he was really a young guy, like early 20s, baby face. And he said, hi, I'm Joshua John. I'm a medium. And this normally how I work is I go to each person and I say, who would you like to connect with? And I try to connect with that person. And then I go to the next person. I call it my drive-through mediumship. And I just kind of go around the room. And tonight I'm going to do it a little different, though, because somebody's been coming to me all day knowing that you would be here tonight. And so I'm going to start on this side of the room. And somebody over here who's lost their dad or father figure young or too soon, whose name is Robert or Bob. And I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
I was like, that's me, I think, but what, Yeah. And he started telling me some of the most amazing things. And my whole body was vibrating. It was just like such a beautiful, amazing experience. Nothing I had ever thought to seek out. I talk to my dad all the time when I'm running in my own head, but I'd never thought, I'm going to go talk to a medium, or, it was just something that, and that was like completely mind blowing to me. That was like, okay, what is this? What is happening?
Yes.
I that blew the door wide open for me. I had 0% interest in spirituality. And now I was like, okay, I'm consuming everything I can in private. Nobody can know about this. Partially because it was like such a special thing that happened. I didn't want anybody to ruin it. I didn't want anybody to be like, that didn't really happen, or, it was
imagined
just a coincidence and all this stuff.
Yeah. I was like, no, I know what it was.
Because you felt like you wanted to go too. And that was like, that's really
that
interesting.
pull.
Oh yeah. I felt like, that was the other piece of it. He finished with me. He moved on to another person. And I had to leave. I that was like the only time I had there. And if he would have done it his normal way, I wouldn't have got a reading. I would have left, and it would have just been another cool experience. But I would have left. And I called my sisters after that, to my sisters and told them that what had happened. And my one sister was like, "That's so not fair. I want to talk to Dad too." So I had scheduled this is back in the day, so it was before Zoom, but I scheduled a FaceTime. So I went and met with him in his office and got my sisters on FaceTime. And when I was getting ready to leave that morning to go down there, I was finishing in the bathroom and I was in the mirror and I was like, Dad, please be there for them today like you were for me. Like, please give them this experience,
The manager likes that.
And you know what?
Yeah.
The manager's very much liking the story.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you, Kristi, but this is the manager. She is our podcast. Yeah, our podcast.
I have a couple of managers around here too that might be popping in.
You do.
This is Tomiko, and she gave the tail of approval.
Perfect. Yay.
And she looked at you. She only does that for very happy people. Very people shy.
That's awesome. I love kids. I love cats so much.
We love cats too.
We're all cat people.
You might see mine pop up there. I have two naked kitties and a fluffy one.
Sphinxes. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, you might see them pop up. They're very. They need the spotlight. They're very.
So does Tomiko.
Yes. As far as she's concerned, it's her show. She's the star.
She allows
she's
us
why
to
people
talk.
tune in. Yes.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. So that morning when I was getting ready and I said that, like, Dad, please be there for them. And I go down there. We start the FaceTime. My sister's on the line and he looked at me and he goes, okay, your dad's coming through and he wants to acknowledge to you right now that today was the first time you ever prayed to him out loud.
Wow.
And I didn't even realize until he said that was the first time that I had ever
asked a favor from him.
That I had ever out loud talked to him.
Yeah.
And I was like, from this second on, there's nothing anybody can tell me that would change my mind about what just happened,
Mm-hmm.
So that was it for me. I mean, I was hooked after that. I've taken a ton of courses. That was kind of, once I started reading every book and listening to everything I could, that was actually the beginning of realizing that we all had different gifts and things that we could do to connect. And I started looking more into my own astrology, and I joined all these like groups and all of these other things. And it was such a cool thing to be able to have all of these realizations about myself, learn all of these new things about myself, love all of these things about myself.
Point.
Give myself permission to love myself instead of trying to change or fit somewhere else.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's really kind of how I got to this place. It's been messy. You have to deal with your own
shadow material.
Shadow work. You have things that pop up. Yeah. You have things that pop up all the time that are like, ooh, I didn't know I still had to deal with this. Or, ooh, I didn't know I had something in this closet.
It can happen like nothing reaction one day. And then 2 days later, if you're in a way, some kind of mood or something, something from the past that didn't bother you 2 days ago might bother you. It can happen that way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've had weird, experiences too. Once this all happened, I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. I was doing crazy meditations and like, please come on, give me something cool. Like, I wanted the big, I wanted more of those moments, those like aha moments.
Yeah.
And, I wanted to know where I was going too. It's like, okay, you showed me this. Now what? Like,
did you start getting readings or anything like that?
I didn't really. I started, I started working with like a spiritual group where we kind of like worked together, and we kind of were just like a support group, like online. And, it was interesting because like very few people knew anything about all this stuff. I'm still going to work in real estate and selling hundreds of houses and working for all these people. But none of this was anything that I was public about at all.
And this listeners, before she came on the podcast, she says she's just now starting to put herself out there. Is this the first time, or has there been other podcasts?
This might be the first real public place. I have a little bit on social media now, but it's been, I finally just feel a lot like everybody I share my story with resonates with it somehow and is helpful for them somehow, no matter where they're at in their journey of all of this, whether it's like day one or, they're figuring out kind of where they fit in their spiritual practice, or they're going through like a major transition in life, which I've been through a lot of those. Everybody seems to have some piece that they resonate with and has been helpful for them. Yeah. And I just came to that point where it's like, okay, I need to be sharing this in case like anybody that needs to hear it or connects with just one piece of it. Those have been super helpful for me along the way. I want to give that to other people too.
I love it. And you did with us where the readings you did for us. Exactly. I call them readings, but I don't know what else to call them. Would you like to explain to the listeners and watchers what it is you do exactly?
Yeah. So after I got, during one of my spiritual groups, I had a really talented medium, psychic, healer, who she's with Glow Spiritual Readings in she's in Washington State. But she said to me one day, she looked at me and she said, "You've been dreaming." And I said, "I have been dreaming." I was like, this was another one of those big moments for me. Yeah. I was like, "I have been dreaming." I said to my husband that morning, like, it's so crazy. I've been dreaming every night the last 2 weeks, and I wake up and I remember my dreams. I cannot remember the last time I've done that. Whether it's because, working in real estate, I was 80-hour weeks and I had kids and I had enough
sleep, you're dead.
Yeah, when you're sleeping.
Yes, yeah. I was working in my sleep, right? So it was like I had enough distractions in life that, I'm sure I didn't have any space for any of these things. But the fact that she said that, and I had just said that to my husband, I was like, I was blown away. And she said, "They're important, write them down." And so I said, okay. So I started this dream journal, and every morning I'd wake up and just write down what I could remember, what it felt like, anything that I could. And for the longest time, that's all I did with them. I just kept the journal. And in working on like more getting to know myself more through astrology and some of the other pieces that have kind of come together in astrology, with a friend of mine, we'd kind of realized that our dream styles kind of go with our astrology charts.
Interesting.
And how I dream and how she dreams and how like our astrology charts kind of go with them. And so we started analyzing our dreams and what was happening in our lives through our like a lens of astrology, and kind of what the symbolism that comes through in our dreams is, and coming up with like huge answers to stuff happening in our lives. And it was like, whoa, we just like decoded this, this whole system. And when we started talking to people about it, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't dream, or I can't remember my dream.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is like what I had before, where you just don't have capacity for it. And so then I started thinking, well, what if I can dream for you? But what if I can take your astrology chart and set the intention with your permission to connect with your energy and dream for you and pull those things together and kind of give you some guidance, Right. So it is a reading. It's like all of those things kind of all pulled together.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of info, so that's why they're so long. And because I have to give a little bit of a snapshot on like, okay, how did this happen? Who am I? Your astrology. A lot of people don't know about their own personal astrology more than their sun sign. And what I learned actually is my sun sign is a very small portion of my overall personality. I actually resonate more with my rising sign. But it's such a combination, and they're so unique. And it's just this, energy imprint on us. What we do with it and the decisions we make with it is totally ours. But that energy imprint is there, and it gives us guidance. And it's just kind of fun to read that and kind of like put that all together. I've started working a little bit too with like dream mediumship, but I have some more work to do on
that. Well, listeners, I would, if you're comfortable with this, I would like to read what you read from what you wrote, but I have to actually go get my iPad for that. So listeners, we're going to have some kind of magic right now.
Yeah.
And we're back.
We're back.
So I'm going to show you guys how beautiful, if you're watching, how beautiful these reports are. I saw my iPad, if you're watching. It's not printed, but I'm just kind of skimming through. So what I'm skimming through right now, there's the beginning. It looks like a D's. And then if you skim or scan or scroll, you will see an astrology report that she does. And then at another point, she does a dream. She did a dream where she dreams about something for me and tells me what she dreamed about. So I'm going to read the dream. She says, this is Kristi's dream for Lisa. It says right here, there's a heart. She loves me. Okay. You pull up to a farm property to help out there. There is a boy at the farm who really likes you. You're not looking to be in a relationship, but agree to start dating him very slowly. There is a movie playing in the background, and everything about this place feels peaceful, slow-paced, and comfortable, like a simple way of living. A big wedding is taking place at the farm, and you're helping everybody prepare for it. There's a sweet boxer puppy and another friendly dog that are allowed to roam freely with the wedding guests. But the rest of the animals have to stay put. The family is very wealthy, but you wouldn't know it by looking at them because they're humble and unassuming. The boy lets you drive one of the family cars, although he really doesn't want you to leave. It has the feeling of innocent puppy love, and over time, he has really grown on you. The connection feels grounded, genuine, and sweet. At one point, another boy is mean to him and tries to shut the door so he can't come into the room where you are. You immediately stand up for him and make sure he isn't left out. Later, you're waiting for your turn at a salon with a big dog. You talk to the woman there about an appointment, and she tells you to go take the dog for a walk and come back afterwards, so you do. While you're walking the dog, you notice a tiny rattlesnake. Even though it's a rattlesnake, it's very small and almost cute. You stay a safe distance away, simply observing it without putting yourself in any danger. When you return to the salon, the woman tells you that someone named Bullion, love that, called and it's coming at 11. So now you won't be able to get you in after all. You become upset, and she pushed your appointment back for someone else after you had taken the walk simply to help fill time for her schedule. Feeling frustrated, you tell her you'll find someone else instead. You gather your bag, pack up your things, and leave. And that was the dream. I love that. Well, and then she goes through the dream analysis. I'll keep that to myself. But I do want to say that when I read this, I thought it was really interesting. It was if it made me think of this boy I knew in Chattanooga when I moved from Chattanooga. He was a year younger from me. I was about 9 when I left there, and he was 8 or 7. His name was Jay, and he loved me so much. And he was too little for me. He was too young for me. I can't be your girlfriend. You're a year younger. We were little kids. We were, And but I remember when we pulled away that he's my next door neighbor, and as we drove away, I looked out the back window, and he was standing in the street, just. It was so sad, but when I read that, I thought of him for some reason. I hadn't thought of that person and so that little child in so long. And the bouillon, I told you, you said you didn't know what that name could mean, and I told her about the bone broth you've been teaching me to make and getting in. How I don't drink bouillon and I drink bone broth now. And the big dogs, I don't know about that because I'm allergic to dogs. I do like dogs, but I think you nailed that one down. And the other thing that I thought was really interesting is I just had my hair done and it was because a podcast guest had a friend who just moved to Nashville, and she needed a job as a hairdresser, and she needed a hair model to get the job. So I got highlights.
So there was Lisa.
Kind of interesting, and I like that. So, but I just don't want to tell about the interpretation. I just want to say that I thought it was really good and it resonated with what's going on in my life.
Yeah. The interesting thing that I love about dreaming for other people is that my dreams feel different. Like your dream felt completely different than my dream style. My dream style for myself is a lot more fast paced and urgent and helping and in levels and tests. And like, there's all this like more of like an urgency usually for me. And yours was like such a serene, slow, calm, style dream. And
that's not how I dream.
It was interesting though, because it did match more of like your pace in life, your astrology. And so the matching up of that, when I went through your astrology chart with the dream, I was like, oh, this is interesting. The pace of my dream felt like the pace of your astrology chart, not urgent, more of like, I'll get the stuff done,
that's
the
how
right
I
way
am.
over a long period of time. And that's how it felt. And so I think that's always a fun part for me, is the dreams are different. And sometimes in my dreams, I will dream as the person. And that's, I love that too. When I have a dream and I'm dreaming for somebody and I get to be that person in the dream, that's another.
What was it in this one? Were you outside of it or were you me?
Yeah, I was viewing it. Okay. Yeah. So you were in it, all of these things were happening and I was just viewing it, like observing it.
So what do you do to prepare to do these dreams? Do you just like set an intention before you go to sleep or?
Yeah, I try to do all of my good, spiritual hygiene and dream stuff. I have tweaked different like crystals that I have in my room and other things, but really it's saying my prayer and doing my little intention meditation.
I love it.
Before I go to sleep. And then I have all my notes ready so that the second I wake up and I'm still in that half dream state, I get as much of it on paper as possible. Yeah. And then I fill in the blanks and kind of, make it make sense, as opposed to if I just gave you my notes, you wouldn't understand them. But
and she does go through like the astrology listeners or watchers, if you can see this, she does. There's pages and pages and pages of this. I mean, there's so much to it. And she also recommends a crystal, and we were just talking about that while I was gone getting my iPad forever. Yeah. And she recommended green aventurine to me. And Donna, what was your recommendation?
Mine was actually labradorite, which I thought was really interesting because about a week or so ago, Lisa had sent me a little package of goodies. And among those goodies, because she makes jewelry or did used to make jewelry, she had a pendant in there that was labradorite set in silver. A really beautiful purple labradorite, kind of a pear shape, roughly sort of a pear shape. And I was really excited because it's really beautiful. And naturally I thanked her for it. But I thought it was so interesting because I don't have a lot of labradorite around me. I have a little itty bitty teeny ring, which I actually started wearing with the pendant because I thought, well, good, right? I mean, kind of amp up the energy. But I thought it was so interesting to see that show up in the dream analysis and as one of the I'll say one of the elements of the dream story, dream picture. because I just had one come into my possession.
And the interesting thing about yours too was
hearing.
that I had changed what yours was. In the original like analysis that I did for you, I think it was Golden Healer or something.
Yeah,
but when I went back through it, I had changed it to that, which is funny. You know, I was like, that was probably one of those little pieces that had to be a little,
what's even weirder? I just remembered this. This is even weirder. Donna, I wasn't going to send you that pendant. I was going to send you an abalone pendant. And I picked it up and I washed it and I put it down and I couldn't find it. But I had two of them. So I got the other one and I washed it and I put it down and I couldn't find it. And I was like, do I have any other pendants?
Yeah, I know.
And I did. I had that labradorite one. Yeah. And so that's what you got. And I did find the other ones eventually. Yeah. But after I mailed it to you. So that's even weirder. Because they don't just my jewelry doesn't disappear right after I wash it. I'm not that blank all the time. You know, that was somebody's messing there. They wanted you to have that labradorite. It
was supposed to happen that way.
I was supposed to get that labradorite.
Yes. Don't ask. I just have this here. But I would like to also talk about I'd like to talk about your dream interpretation from my childhood dream. Did you give her a dream to interpret, Donna?
No, I didn't have anything that was either impactful enough from the past or even the recent past, and nothing like contemporary. So I just went with
letting her dream for
working
you.
from the astrology and let her dream for me.
How was that experience for you, her dreaming for you?
It was remarkable. I mean, I really feel like the whole thing is, first of all, it is really well organized, which matters a lot, because otherwise you really can't follow it would be hard to follow what's happening unless there's a good kind of solid format that lets you know, okay, here's the astrology piece, which I know quite a bit of mine, but many people don't. And, you could be doing this for people that really don't know maybe much beyond their sun sign. So there's that. Yeah. But then there's the dream, the actual dream. Okay, here's the narrative of what happened in the dream, and then how that all comes together. Very in depth. And yes, it is long, but it's not long in the sense that, oh my gosh, it's good long. It's all it's all informative and it all fits together. It isn't like, wow, this is really long and this is like, taking.
No, it's coherent. It's cohesive.
Yes, completely. Yeah.
I keep thinking it takes me a long time to put the report together, and I keep thinking I'm gonna try to, pare it down or cut some of this or that. And I'm like, I can't. It's all great info. It's all stuff
I loved how long it was. I thought I wanted more. I did afterwards.
I'm gonna be maybe not so elegant, but it's meat, not filler. You know what I mean?
Yes.
What's there needs to be there. It's not just filler to let's make this look, fleshed out or something.
Yeah. And then after you get that and kind of go through it, I encourage people to schedule, a follow-up coaching or a consult, because there's so much info there and there's so much that we can kind of deep dive in on, like the year ahead and, kind of what are these pieces bringing in for you right now and how they maybe apply. I don't know. I don't know what's happening in your real life right now. All I know is your astrology chart and my dream, right? So if I get to actually have a meeting with you and we can talk about these are the things that are actually happening in my life right now, we can apply it to that and kind of help you guide yourself and make some decisions for yourself, some things that your astrology and support right now. It's it's such a great tool.
Yeah. Now, the only thing, I think the only time I've ever heard of any kind of dreaming for someone else is shamanism. I think shamans do that sometimes. But I don't know of any other kind of field or of study.
I've been looking. I follow a bunch of, people that do dream work and a bunch of people that do astrology and stuff. But, Dr. Michael Lennox is one of the only ones that I know that kind of does both. But he mostly does astrology stuff. He doesn't really talk much about the dream work. And I haven't ever heard of anybody dreaming for anyone else. I know, people have visions or meditations or things like that.
Sure. And you get flashes of stuff sometimes. Yeah. And I have had dreams.
In old times, in ancient shamans might be, but I've read that they supposedly would dream for people, and still in some tribal communities where they have they will do that, what you're talking about. They usually get high on something and then dream.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
I mean, I guess like, yeah. And I mean, with my clients, I mean, there's times I will dream about a client or I'll dream about a client's situation. And I certainly will share that with them, of course, because I figure that's why it's coming through. Right.
Because with dreams, it's your subconscious, your higher self gets to directly download into your brain, right? Your logical brain doesn't get a say anymore. Your left side of your brain is vacant. You're not stuck in this 3D reality right now that you're trying to make sense of or talk yourself out of something. So that's why for me, I'm like, it is like a direct line. It's so much easier for me to dream than to do a meditation without getting distracted or without having my brain talk me out of things, you know? That's why I love the dream. It makes it, to me, so much more logical. I love without my logical brain.
And her interpretation of the dream, I've talked about this dream on the podcast before, and I've had other people interpret it. And I don't want to go through the whole thing because that would just take up so much time. But I just want to tell you, listeners, I told her this dream, and I've told many, and you've heard it if you're a longtime listener. It's the Field of Daisies dream where I'm walking down the road and I find the girl at the mailbox who looks like me, and she gives me the daisy. Well, she nailed it, and I think you did. And it had all to do with hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Having that all my life because it had to do with the sick. And almost everybody who interpreted that dream, almost every single person who's ever, all my life I've asked about it, they totally disregarded something that you pinned down. And it was the supports that I was focusing on the ropes of the boulder and the logs that were about to fall on me, the fraying, and that is connective tissue. And you didn't know I had EDS. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I have a condition called hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue syndrome. And it makes all my connective tissue in my entire body very fragile and flexible. So in the dream, I was about to die because these boulders and logs were tied by these fraying ropes about to fall on me at one part in the dream. And she says that that's where my focus was in the dream. So that was telling me what was wrong with me from the very beginning of when I was young, that I had like connection tissue issue.
It's like this invisible thing. This is why
all the things the way you put it was perfect. Yeah.
This is why I love not knowing anything about somebody too when I'm putting this stuff together, because I didn't know any of those things. And so to be able to pull those things all together, it blows my mind. I'm like, it's so interesting and how the information's there for us.
Yeah, and I might, after we finish up, if I feel like it, I might read that to them just by myself, but I don't want to take your podcast doing that because it was really fascinating for me and I really enjoyed that. I want to tell you that I've had, like, all my life, I've always wondered what the deeper meaning to that dream was. And I think you pinned it down for me. I knew it was about my health, but I didn't feel like it was about my health, but I didn't know what the message was, And that
I think also it had to be now that was like kind of all put together because
I didn't have the diagnosis until a few years ago. I never would have figured it out from fraying ropes. So I don't know what connective tissue was when I was 45. Now I'm 46. I get diagnosed. I find out. I kind of know what connective tissue is, but now I really know.
It's always that. It's always that connecting the dots backwards. Always,
right?
It's
exactly.
So easy looking backwards, and
because then you can track. But while you're navigating, it's just unconnected dots that you keep trying to make some sense out of.
Yep. Yeah.
And then the other nice thing about it is, I think too, one of the aspects of what's in the whole report is kind of a look forward from the present to, like next year, right around this time. And what's important about that, I think, is that, and again, that does tie into certain astrological correspondences, things that'll be happening with the planets as we go forward and how that would impact me individually. And so there is a forecast, and then that gives you, I think, another framework for action, because ultimately having advice is great. Having advice that is actionable is fantastic.
It really is.
Knowing, you're going to make your decisions and do you have free will. You can make your decisions for yourself, but knowing maybe kind of a better timing to make a big decision or not, is helpful. I do that for myself. I look at stuff and I see I'm not a professional astrologer, so I see astrologers too for myself. These are all pieces where I feel like they're so important, and they make such a big difference when you can connect those pieces and get a little bit of guidance out there that pertains
and even the forecasting. None of this is about this is going to happen on this date and that's it. Good luck to you. It's not like that at all. It's here are the influences, and here's kind of what the energies or the influence around that particular date or that,
I'll give
that
you an
particular
example.
transit.
And I like to keep it positive too.
I'll give an example. Like for November, December 2026, for me, she says home and inner healing, fourth house activation. This area rules family, emotional foundations, home, childhood, feeling safe. Old emotional stories may surface, not to create pain, to create freedom. The dream's peaceful farm reflects the type of inner life she's building. Life may ask what actually feels like home now. I've been looking for my home all my life. So that's there are times when I go through that. And I had another reader I just had a reading with tell me to record. Interestingly, it's kind of related. She told me to record my dreams between November and December because they would help me in April and May of next year. So I thought that was kind of interesting that you.
So again,
I just happened to go to that one.
Very cool. And it's great to know that you have some information and some advice and some
I felt like you knew me too. It has a good feeling like you felt like you understood me.
That's the astrology piece of it. That's so cool.
We didn't even speak though, and just in your writing and your dreaming for me, I felt like a connection, an energetic connection.
Yeah, because we've only communicated by email so far.
Yeah,
so,
and that's the piece where getting permission to connect with your energy, so that I can set that intention for the dream. That makes a difference for me, because I definitely feel like once that happens, I'm able. It's like, okay, we have permission. Let's go.
Does anybody ever ask you to dream for him? If you know what I mean.
Like to dream for somebody out, like
someone,
another
like a woman. I'm in love
them.
with him. Does he dream? Will you dream for him about me?
No, not really. I mean, I've had people though say, like, oh, will you interpret this dream for my husband or whatever? Okay. Which I will, but I have to have their permission. I just I
feel that way too about a lot of stuff. He like Reiki, and permission.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I would love to ask, where can the listeners find you, and maybe learn more about your services, or learn more about you, get some services maybe?
So my website is dreamweaveroracle.net. And I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is more active, and that's DreamWeaver Oracle. And I'll
put all that information in the description of the podcast, listeners, and you can click on through, and I will follow you on Instagram. Are you on Facebook too?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook too.
Yeah, I'll find you.
I did a for the first 10, 50% off codes for you guys, for your listeners. And it's
that's wonderful.
It's all caps. It's all caps. It's all psychic 50.
We'll put that in the description too, and
we'll make sure that it's in the
50% off, guys. This is so worth it.
I'm telling you, jump on it, go for it.
I might do it.
So I would love to do that for some of your listeners too. I'm super glad that you enjoyed the experience.
That is really great. And at this point, I'd also love to thank our sponsor, Everclear. Everclear is an advice app and website where you can get advice from psychics and empaths, so you can get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve. I'm an advisor on Everclear under the name Lisa Rusczyk.
And I am an advisor on Everclear under the name Dona Murphy. So you can find us there, and a number of other very, very gifted psychics.
There's one that really sucks, but no, I'm just kidding. We hate that person, but we all great. Don't call that person. We won't even say their name.
Everclear is a really, really great platform. So if you're looking for advice in that manner, we can be found there. But again, you can find a lot of great advisors on Everclear, and we encourage you to check it out. We also love when you watch our episodes. We love when you watch our episodes multiple times. We'd like to make sure, again, like Lisa said, that everything that you need to find out more about Kristi and how to work with her is going to be in the show description. But also, if you like us, if you want, wherever it is that you watch us, whatever platform, whether it's Spotify, YouTube, whatever, they've all got a way to say, I like this and I want more. So please find that and say, I like this and I want more. On YouTube, it's you can subscribe, you can get notifications for when our new episodes come out. We have live readings every Sunday, or just about every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Central.
Why
You said Eastern again.
I have this thing in my brain.
You think it's 7 Eastern. You can say that if you want. 7 Eastern.
Yeah, well, but it's 6 o'clock Central, which we're both in Central time. You would think that would come very naturally.
It's so funny.
And again, if you have, we love comments, we love your feedback about our guests, about our show. And if you want to share us with other people, we love that too, because the more people that watch us, the more of this we can do, which we do for all of you, for our listeners or watchers.
We love doing it. I do it for myself too, though, honestly. Well, and do you love our listeners and watchers, Kristi? Do you love our listeners?
Very, very much. They're awesome, all of them.
Well, she loves you. And we're a little off topic because we forgot to ask you for advice. Not off topic, off the chart. We have to ask you for some advice for the listeners. So let's say there's listeners out there who dream a lot and they love their dream life and they have, like you, an unnatural, maybe an inclination to interpret them and to understand them. Where would you point them to start interpreting them themselves the real way?
The first thing to do is start writing them down every morning. And I'm actually going to start offering some courses on doing these things for yourself and how to teach people how to do it too.
That is really wonderful. So she'll have advice for you.
Wonderful.
You can come back when you start doing that and have another conversation with us.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
and thank you for putting yourself out there, man. It was hard for me to do this podcast. It still is sometimes.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been
a complete It's been a wonderful experience. Having the interpretation now has really been, I mean, I still have a lot to digest, but I mean, even on my first go, I was like, wow, this is really remarkable. And it's been a pleasure to talk with you and learn more about what you do because it is very unique. And I just, again, I hope that you'll come back and see us again real soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'd love that.
I'll update you when I have more of that going.
Sounds good, man. And listeners, she loves you, Donna. You love him.
I do. We will see you again very soon. Yeah.
I love you too, listeners and watchers. And we'll see you in a few days, maybe. We'll see you sometime.
Yeah. Sometime soon. Take care. Be well. And bye for now.
Bye for now.